Hello everyone, so welcome to another video. It's not often that I get to put on this kind of thing, so special occasion. Mainly being that we got to see the newest IGN footage for Halo Infinite. So, thought I'd talk about that a little bit, especially after the fantastic multiplayer flighting. Primarily because the gunplay in the multiplayer flight just felt really good. Unfortunately, didn't get into the big team battle stuff, so couldn't experience anything like that. Only could really do stuff versus bots, unfortunately. But what I played felt really nice and felt like a callback to old Halo games compared to the newer stuff that I remember playing. It's been a while since I played Halo, admittedly, primarily because Halo 5 was such a misstep, but the flights made a really good impression. So now we've got everybody getting excited about Infinite coming up on December, and they showed off campaign stuff, and this campaign. So, Halo 5, obviously, being a misstep, had story problems, which I'm still kind of worried about with Infinite, but just the overall gameplay and the way to approach things now got me really excited. So, of course, we have this more open-ended sandbox, which people were asking me, like, Dave, what do you want in a Halo game? Because it sounds like you want a callback to older games. And honestly, trying to emphasize what you want sometimes is a bit hard, but basically Infinite is looking kind of what I was on about when I was trying to convey what I wanted out of a Halo game, which was that free open exploration where you're allowed to do whatever you want, more or less, and be rewarded for it. You can go off the beaten path, you can explore things and get extra lore if you want, but it's not necessary. You can go into different Forerunner structures and find various little things here and there, maybe different weapons, encounter new characters or new enemies, and then if you want, you can go back to the main path or the main storyline and continue on. That's what I wanted, very similar to Halo ODST, because ODST was a small snippet of that, where everybody kind of got the sense of, okay, this is cool, we get a little bit of freedom, we get to explore, figure out a little bit about the lore, there's a lot of narrative told in the level design. We've got like all this graffiti all over the place, we have Virgil leading us around the city, and you'd find these little tidbits of clues as to what happened during the time when the rookie was knocked unconscious in ODST. You'd get those little hints as to what had happened, and it was really cool to actually kind of then use your own imagination to fill in those blanks, or experience some of it through the actual storyline, which was told through like different characters' perspectives. But with Infinite, they seem to have taken a little bit of inspiration for that open world and said, okay, we're going to put you on this Halo ring, and we're going to split it into chunks, and then you explore each open area, or each chunk. You then take over a certain area where it has a forward operating base that's been captured by the Banished from Halo Wars 2. We'll bring those back. Those will be the main bad guys, and the idea is that you go around capturing each one of these forward operating bases, which are more or less like checkpoints from what I can tell. You go around destroying Banished encampments or bases, different things. In the campaign video that is shown off by 343, they show you destroying what looks like a silo full of fuel. Whereas in the actual IGN videos, they talk about different encampments and things like that. But I like the idea of going around, doing all these missions at your own pace, while exploring if you want, being rewarded with different weapons or new boss fights to encounter, and then go back to the main story. That's all that I wanted out of a main Halo experience at this point in time, at least. So I'm glad they've been able to do seemingly that, looking at the videos. It's not a true open world in sense, as they say. It's not like Assassin's Creed or whatever. But from what I've seen, it looks good enough. It's not asking too much of the devs, but it's done in such a way that even they say it seems to be curated to complement the gunplay very well. So you've got these heavily designed encounters that allow the player to experience them however they would like. So for instance, the two players from IGN, one was female, one was male. One, I think it was the male, approached it by grappling up onto some of the terrain and then just sniping at everything with a battle rifle, Whereas I think it was the female said she brought in a group of Marines from a previous forward operating base and used them as a distraction to then circle around and attack from behind. And that's great. You know, it gets the point across of having player freedom to do whatever you want in this game in terms of approach these engagements and really enjoy yourself, and then enjoy the experience of talking amongst friends or other fans and seeing what they did differently, and then approaching something else in the future in a different fashion to see just how the AI reacts and how the encounter changes differently. I really liked that. I also liked the whole idea of the boss encounters being a lot more challenging and having different unique gear to them, which you can then take with you. So, for instance, they have a lot of unique weapons. That sounds really good to me. I just hope that they keep, and this is going to sound bad for a couple of different reasons, but I hope they keep the idea that they're going with at the moment of satisfying the casual players as well as the hardcore lore nerds. And what I mean by that is, like, the casual gameplay, just in terms of picking up and playing with the guns, feels really good. I like that, but I'm hoping they continue that into the campaign where you're not forced to know every little thing about the lore from, like, the books. I'm hoping that stuff will be optional and they'll hint about it here and there, but you won't need to be a complete book nerd, because to be honest, I'm not a big Halo nerd anymore. I was in the past. Halo 5 ruined that. So, yeah, I'm not in this for, like, the hardcore crowd are, for every little beat of the story. I just want this now to be satisfying as a casual player of the game instead of a hardcore fan, you know. I'm basically coming into this very cautiously after Halo 5 and hoping that it will be as good experience as the multiplayer fighting has been. Of course, I didn't get a chance to play a big team battle. I would have liked that, as well as playing with other people to see what that's like, you know, in terms of player versus player instead of versus AI. But what I have played, like I said before, is very satisfying, and I'm getting hyped like with everybody else, but I'm still staying a little bit reserved, and you can't blame me based on the previous history with the game. That being said, I like this. It's a good step in the right direction into getting Halo back into the mainstream again and getting more people invested in it, and thus having more people playing. A few people have mentioned about the multiplayer monetization side of things. That's one thing that I'm still concerned about for obvious reasons. I'm not going to dive into the monetization. I'm a free-to-play player, so it's probably going to be a grind fest for me. We'll have to see how that works out, because it seems to be more like a Destiny-style model when it comes to getting new things like new layers of paint for your Spartan and things. To be honest, I'm fine with just the standard blue colours. As long as I can get blue and then put that on, I'm totally fine. Like, some extra setup would be pretty nice, you know, to look a little bit more like my Halo 3 armor here. But I imagine that's going to be a bit of a grind. They said that they were changing some of the things to do with the progression in multiplayer in the future, so that you didn't just play a certain amount of matches a day and then you had to wait for a cooldown for experience. They said that they want to try and address that in future. That's something I would like, so that you get a little bit more rewarded for progression and actually playing games, rather than just sort of playing the challenges, getting the experience for those, and then just not playing for the rest of the day because it won't give you anything else, you know, from it. Either way, again, I'm excited. I'm totally hyped for this. I just hope that this is the comeback that everybody is seemingly getting hyped about, because I don't want it to be one of those experiences where everybody gets totally excited and is cheering from, you know, the high heavens going, yeah, Halo's back, only for it to fall flat on its face terribly. That's the one thing that I'm kind of a bit worried about right now, and I'm like, oh no, I could kind of see this coming. No. So, again, this is all from previous experiences with other Halo titles that 343 have done, apart from Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 I actually really enjoyed. 4 and 5, just, nah. They weren't as good as I thought they were originally, or rather, 5 I never really enjoyed. 4 was kind of okay when it first came out, but after playing it so many times, the holes in its armor started to show through. So at this point, for me, and for I imagine quite a lot of people, even though the hype's there, it's 343's last chance at doing something good with this franchise. I feel like they feel that right now, so all eyes and pressure is on them to deliver come December. Whether they'll manage to pull off the landing and make this all stick, whether they make the storyline compelling and decent, in terms of the resolution compared to previous games, specifically Halo 5. Whether they manage to do that, it's totally on them at this point. Honestly, I hope they do. But anyway, what do you guys think about the latest video with all the gameplay and everything and all the story beats? I'll see you down in the comments section. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to keep this armor. It's not often that I get to borrow stuff like this, so I hope they don't mind. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!